Welcome to the Vol Bros. My name is Evan. This is my brother Rustin, who is the Jemai Mashak fan club president. And we are two brothers who are two Vol Bros who are. It's sad that I still can't get that right every single time.
It's only been like 4 months.
I know. We are two Vol Bros who are actually bros. There we go. I got it. Somber day. Well, first of all, I'm glad to be back. I missed the Saturday show. Thankfully, like Rustin said, I did not reenact the Titanic, which was good. We were out on the Atlantic Ocean there, but I'm glad to be back. And obviously, a somber day in Knoxville and Rocky Top right now. Everybody, we're feeling for Zakai. It's really a shame what happened. It's just so sad. We experienced it in football season with Hendon and now with Zakai. And my goodness, two people that's so easy to root for, so easy to cheer for. And this has happened, and it's just a shame. But we're going to do things a little bit different tonight. Obviously, the BaseVols had a huge win last night. Side note, I was loving Arkansas's 1990s throwback uniforms. Those are pretty cool. That swoosh, man, everybody in the 90s had that like big swoosh thing down the side of the jersey and the shorts, but so they were rocking it last night. But the Vols throwbacks, the Vol script, those are the best uniforms they have too.
Yep.
Huge win last night. BaseVols, they're tearing it up right now. Rustin had a great idea for a new t-shirt design that you'll see on the volbros.com pretty soon. We'll get that out there hopefully tomorrow or the next day, but they won today, but we're going to do things a little bit differently tonight. Yeah, we'll talk about the baseball team and stuff like that, but primarily tonight we're going to answer two questions. And so we invite everybody who may be watching to answer these questions as well. Number one, who will step up in Zakai's absence? And number two, what is the biggest question or concern moving forward without Zakai? We've already got some people chiming in online. Zach said, I'll be here at 9:30. Just wanted to say now, thanks for never blocking your viewers like some people just because they have an opinion. I don't know what happened, Zach, but I'm sorry whatever happened with what you're saying there. We love you, buddy. You're the man. Well, let's see. Rustin, let's answer these two questions, and we'd love to hear people's opinions as well. Who will step up in Zakai's absence? Not who needs to. That's a different question. Who will step up?
So I think it'll probably be by committee, but yeah, I told you last night it may be a blessing in disguise that Josiah and Julian were injured for as long as they were, because it forced Jemai Mashak to get significant minutes, and Jemai has improved as much as anybody in the entire conference over the last month. His emergence has just been incredible. Even last night, obviously we hate to see Zakai go down, but if we're being honest, they look pretty stinking good after he went down. Jemai stepped in and just played the point guard position really impressively. Took care of the ball, managed the offense, got them in their right looks, created things for other players, scored when he needed to score, held Nick Smith to 12 points on 3 of 13 shooting. For those of you who don't know, Nick Smith is hands down the best point guard in the SEC, and he will be a top 5 lottery pick in the NBA draft this year. And Jemai Mashak made him look average. It was an impressive night all the way around by him. And so all the time he got in Julian and Josiah's absence, could be a blessing, but he's not going to do that every night. And so, right. It's going to be by committee. Julian's going to have to step up some nights and play honestly better than he did last night. Sure. He played okay last night, but my goodness, the ball was flying all over the place every time he touched it. And then Josiah's going to be Josiah. He's going to pick and choose his battles. He's going to know when he's needed, and when he is, he's going to step in and perform. And, he's going to have to play a major role from this point forward.
Yep. And so I agree with you totally. The question is not who needs to step up. It's who will step up. If the question was who needs to step up, I would say Tyreek Key. First of all, they got to get him back. They desperately need him back right now, just for pure depth, and that kind of thing. A scoring threat, they need him right now bad. So whatever injury he has, I hope he gets healed soon so he can play. He was dressed out last night, which I thought was important. So maybe if it had been, well, he would have played if he was available. That's the bottom line last night. But
yeah, I think he went through shoot around just to test it out.
So as far as who needs to step up, I would say it's Tyreek Key. Who will step up is the question, though. And I think who will step up is Jemai Mashak. I think this is actually for Jemai. I'm sure point guard is not his natural position. However, the way he is currently shooting the ball, I think it's actually more beneficial for him to run the point.
Yeah.
And have Tyreek Key and Santiago Vest. I'm going to say it right, like he said in the video. If y'all hadn't seen Josh Mancuso's video of Santiago Vescovi, that was hilarious. And so, with Tyreek and Santi on the wings, you have your scorers and your shooting threats receiving the pass instead of initiating the pass if Jamai's running. I'm not sure if he had a turnover in the second half last night. I don't think
he did.
Yeah, I don't think he did either. And so, I'd be curious to know how many turnovers total he had. I'm not even sure if he had one.
One. He had one turnover, and that was about midway through the first half. So, yeah, in the second half, he never had a turnover.
If he can replicate that, that's going to be huge for Tennessee's offense moving forward, because if he can take care of the ball and if he can initiate the offense, getting open looks for Santi, Tyreek, Julian, if he can distribute the ball, that's going to be an okay scenario for Tennessee.
Listen to this line. He had 6 points, 5 assists, 4 steals, a rebound, and 1 turnover. That's a solid night.
I mean, like if as the man bringing the ball up the court and initiating the offense, if he only has 1 turnover, you're going to take that all day long. So that's my answer for who will step up. Now, here's our second question, and we love to hear people's opinion on this too. So what is the biggest question or concern moving forward without Zakai? So my same answer to the first one is really my answer to the second one, and it's free throws. We've talked about it over and over and over on this show that in March, you have to have a point guard who is able to make free throws down the stretch, because they're going to if you have the lead, you will be fouled so that the clock will stop and they got to win from the line. Currently, Jemai shooting free throws is a liability. And so teams are going to, they're going to double team Tyreek Key. They're going to double team Santi when we're inbounding the ball, and they're going to allow the ball to go to Jemai, and they're going to intentionally foul Jemai to put him on the line. And he's going to be put in some really tough positions in March where he has to make big time free throws in clutch moments. And so I hope down the stretch that he is able to make those. Right now, he is visibly uncomfortable from the free throw line, and so that's an issue. That he had the air ball that looked like a pass to Toby Awaka. That was not close. Sadly, that was not a close shot. And so, that when you move to the free throw line, he had one in the first half that, hit the back of the rim and went in, and that kind of thing. Used the backboard a little bit, but that's my biggest concern moving forward, because you have to have a point guard who can handle the ball, get fouled, go to the free throw line, and make free throws to win a basketball game in March. That's a concern moving forward. What's your concern? Yeah. Biggest question or concern moving forward?
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. For the season, he is shooting 58% from the free throw line, so that is a problem. My response to that would be they're going to have to, in tight games, go offense for defense and get somebody better in there in his spot. But Tyreek Key hasn't been shooting it much better, so I don't know that there is many options there. Julian Phillips is an excellent free throw shooter, but last night he looked awful. And some of that's rust. He hadn't shot in a game situation in a while. But my goodness, his first 2 free throws last night could not have looked worse. I thought his first one was going to knock the backboard down. Oof. My biggest question or concern moving forward is any team like St. Mary's. We do not want to be in a bracket with a team who is going to push the ball and fly up and down the floor, because that is going to lend itself to turnovers. That's going to lend itself to recklessness. And honestly, I was kind of surprised last night that Arkansas didn't try to push the issue a little more, especially when we got up by about 15. I kept expecting they were going to start pressing and try to run the ball, and they never did. It was really kind of bizarre. But teams that play at a high tempo at all times, like a St. Mary's, those are scary. I'm not sure we can play at any kind of pace without Zakai.
We'll find out how they handle the SEC tournament real soon. They play this Saturday. There is an outside chance they get a 3 seed. Probably not going to happen. 4 seed is probably pretty likely, but it could be a 5 seed depending on what happens. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. BaseVols playing well.
Alabama today. And who in the world can ever predict what's going to happen in the SEC? Alabama's up by 4 on Auburn in overtime right now with 1 minute left. If Alabama wins that, we're guaranteed the 4 seed. So bare minimum, if that game ends in a win for Bama, we're 4. But I mean, how in the world? Auburn loses to Kentucky 3 days ago by 32 points, gets run out of the gym, looks awful. How on earth? And now it's 87-85 with 30 seconds left in overtime. How on earth do they get run out of the gym by Kentucky 3 days ago and then take the number 2 team in America into overtime, and they're going to have a chance to win this game? Like, how is that even possible?
People show up as I keep going back to Desmond Howard when he was talking about rivalry games. A team that shows up for a rivalry game is not the same team that shows up for a midweek game or whatever you want to call it. But this is a midweek game tonight. But you know what I mean, like a non-rivalry game. Everybody gets up for the rivalry game. Speaking of not midweek games, what a segue. This weekend, the baseball team hosts Gonzaga in a 3-game series starting Friday night. And so the next time we go live will actually be Saturday night. And my guess is we'll probably go live about 9 o'clock, something like that. What time does the basketball team play Saturday? I don't even know.
I believe it's the 2 o'clock game. Hang on.
The baseball team plays at 6 o'clock. They play 6:30 on Friday night, 6 o'clock Saturday night, and 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah, the Auburn game is the 2 o'clock game on ESPN.
Okay. So that means that Saturday night, when we go live, we'll have the baseball game will literally just be ending when we go live. And the basketball game will be over, way before then. But so we'll have a reaction show on Saturday to both those games. Gonzaga's good.
Softball is also hosting the Tennessee Classic this weekend. So by Saturday night, they will have played at least twice.
That's a big weekend in Rocky Top. Big weekend. Mm-hmm. So the baseball and softball stadiums are going to be rocking this weekend. Hey, Gonzaga's good. I mean, they're a good baseball team. Watching them play last year in postseason, they're good. So that'll be a good test for the BaseVols to see how they're doing. Probably, most certainly, the most difficult test for them since their first 2 games of the season. And you can make a case that also against UC San Diego. So be fun to watch how that goes down. They're playing well right now. Pitching staff will be well rested for this weekend, so that's good. It'll be a fun weekend, fun series.
So
it's on SEC Network Plus. You can watch it on the ESPN app too. Not a sponsor, but maybe kind of because we have Cole Cubelik. So What just happened in that basketball game?
So Alabama's going to win. They're up by 4 with 11 seconds left. Gonzaga could be good. I'm not sure we actually know what they are. They're 1-7 right now, but they've played potentially the toughest schedule in America so far. So, one mutual opponent. So we lost to Grand Canyon 4-3. Gonzaga actually had 2 games against Grand Canyon, and they lost 13-4 and 17-16. Sunday they lost to Ohio State 8-2. They also lost in that same tournament to they beat Ohio State 11-9 in extra innings in that same tournament, and then they got swept by Texas Tech. So
Texas Tech's good too.
Right, every team I just mentioned is good. So we don't really know what Gonzaga even has, because right now they're sitting at 1-7, but again, they've played probably the toughest schedule in America so far this year. So it'll be interesting. Their pitching is giving up a lot of runs, so that would lend me to think that we're probably going to be okay, because our pitching is just not going to give up hardly any runs.
No, it will not.
I had some stats I wanted to share that are just unbelievable. The Vols are now 8-2, beat Charleston Southern today, ironically 8-2. But listen to some of these stats, because I think this is just incredible. The Tennessee pitching staff team ERA right now through 10 games is 1.27.
Golly, Bo. That's against people with metal bats.
Yes. And they are currently averaging 11.7 strikeouts a game.
Man. Now, one thing about that, a lot of times we'll say when that's with 11.7 strikeouts per game in a 27-out game. But they've had a couple games that didn't even go 27 outs. They only went 7 innings because of a run rule.
Right.
So it's actually a higher percentage than that.
Right. Now here's what's even more impressive. Typically teams that have a high strikeout rate have a bunch of guys that throw really hard, and they typically give up a lot of hits because they throw so hard. We're averaging 11.7 strikeouts a game. We're only allowing 4 hits a game through 10 games. I mean, that's just lights out. I mean, that
with metal bats.
it is unbelievable how this pitching staff, and it's not just the 3 starters. The bullpen has been almost unhittable.
Well, that's a good point, because that's something, yesterday he didn't throw today, he threw yesterday. Halverson came in middle relief yesterday. Yeah, I thought, holy cow, this dude, most Division I teams, this guy would be the Friday starter in their rotation.
Yeah,
and he's a middle reliever.
And he was his freshman year, he was the Saturday starter at Missouri. So I mean, as a true freshman, he was the Saturday starter at an SEC school.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how deep their pitching staff is. It's nuts. I seriously wonder if it is the single most talented pitching staff ever assembled, not only in Tennessee, but in college baseball, period.
If these numbers keep up, it absolutely will be, because these numbers, like, they're defying science right now. Like the laws of averages should somewhat take over at some point. And every night it's the same thing. I mean, they're just mowing people down.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what they've been able to assemble there. And it's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure.
One other stat that I thought was interesting, we talked a while back about offensive depth and how, that could be an issue, that, guys who were the depth last year are now the guy. and there's a really talented freshman class behind them, but we weren't sure how long it was going to take them to come along. Through the first 10 games, 8 different players have hit home runs.
And Blake Burke's really starting to turn it
He
on
has
now.
6 in 10 games.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm given to understand that's good.
He's currently hitting .417 with 6 bombs through their first 10 games.
Dang, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of stuff going on this week. Look tomorrow. Look on our website at thevolbros.com. It's March, and so starting tomorrow, if you use the code ELITE, you will get 8% off your order. See what we did there? And so starting tomorrow, from tomorrow until I'll run it for 2 weeks. So for the next 2 weeks, if you use code ELITE, you get 8% off. We have, I'll show real quick what I think it's a cool, I made it, so I guess that's why I think it's cool looking, but I'm going to show everybody what I think is a cool looking shirt. Actually, it's a hoodie, to be specific. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so on thevolbros.com, if you go up here to shop, and then scroll down to this one, go big orange. Got the little orange as the O and the basketball underneath. That's good looking right there. We're gonna make one for each sport, so we'll have a baseball/softball on it pretty soon. Also working on another design for the baseball team specific to this team, and that'll be good too. But starting tomorrow, this is the premium hoodie. There's also a classic hoodie that's a little bit cheaper. This one's, the material is thicker, which is why it's $47. Starting tomorrow, use code ELITE and you get 8% off. Hopefully that's where the Vols end up. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. That's been fun. Saturday night, we're going to put that joining link out there so people can come on the screen with us. I appreciate Rustin holding the fort down while I was gone on this past Saturday.
Didn't break anything.
Job. Yeah, it was great. And so this upcoming Saturday, we'll be back with everybody. We'll have a video. Probably I'm going to post a reel / YouTube short. Probably Friday, if I had to guess, is when that's going to come out. And then we'll be back live with you on Saturday. So we hope everybody have a wonderful, wonderful 2 days here. And we look forward to a huge weekend on Rocky Top. Looking forward to seeing the baseball team play Gonzaga. Lady Vols hosting a tournament. I'm sure the tennis team is doing something awesome too. They're always kicking butt. And so I'm sure they're doing something really good too. Golf, probably doing the same thing. Everything's cool. Hashtag everything's cool. So we appreciate everybody joining us. We hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Go Vols, baby.